The following program is rated GE. It is suitable for general family viewing.
Welcome to yet another episode of The Grind with me, your host, Hibak Said. This week we're going to be focusing on the winners during this festive season. How exactly are they making their sales? What exactly they've been doing during this economic turmoil? And how exactly you can make your business thrive during this season. Some tips, some tricks, and maybe even some advice. Now we're going to be concentrating on our entrepreneur or entrepreneurs of the week. We're focusing on the winners during the festive season. We want to see which businesses are thriving, how they're thriving, why they're thriving, and how exactly your business can also thrive. Already, we have our entrepreneur of the week, Mr. Michael. If you could just start by introducing yourself. What is your name? What business do you do?
Thank you. My name is Michael Jero, the vice chairman NENO SACCO. We are a transport company covering most of the eastern part of Kenya. That is from Meru, Embu, Nairobi, Kitui, up to Mombasa.
Do you think maybe now it's a culture for Kenyans to usually go home during the holiday season? This business has been running or is usually very high during that time. Is this a culture that will continue?
Thank you. One thing you should understand is that we are having economic crisis. Particularly the whole of this year, we have been having a problem with fuel prices escalating. That has affected the transport business a lot. So people have not been traveling. As much as we are anticipating that we shall be having travelers going over the Christmas, the business has not picked. Previously, we have been having scenarios whereby the business starts picking from November. But up to now, it is just normal. So we are anticipating that it might improve, but the economy has hit very hard to even the travelers.
Right.
Yes.
Mr. Michael, let's look at last year. At a time like this last year, were there many pre-bookings? Were Kenyans booking these buses?
Last year was a bit better because after the 2022 elections, things were not very bad. But as things go by, the economy has been a bit very hard. So we are optimistic that it might peak over this festive season. But the signs, they don't look very, very promising compared with last year.
Right. And when there are a lot of people that are traveling up country during a time like this, how do you deal with the numbers? I'm sure you have a lot of customers coming in. What are the prices like? What are the fluctuations like?
Thank you. One of the problems with these hard economic times, we might not be able to hike the prices. They might be very normal. Why we hike the prices is that when the business is only on one side, it affects the other side. Because vehicles are picking, for instance, from Nairobi to Embu. But from Embu to Nairobi, they are coming empty. So that's why we add something small so that to cover the fuel from Embu to come and pick the passengers in Nairobi. So sometimes that hiking of the prices, it is affected when the business is on one side.
And say usually when you look at other transportation, there's usually railway, there's airlines, they have pre-bookings. Long distance traveling doesn't have as much pre-bookings. How do you go about this?
The long distance, as I have said, one, we have very many players. The matatu sector is somehow uniform up to now. So since we have so many players, the passenger has got varieties to choose. So that's why sometimes you don't have the overcrowding because there are so many players. What we are insisting as the NENO SACCO is that we need to give our customers the quality service. That's why you can see from my side that we are having the modern vehicles, the shuttle vehicles. We are coming out from the 14-seater to the shuttle services. That will make us compete even with SGR and even the airplane. For instance, what we are saying like now, we have embraced the issue of Buy Kenya, Build Kenya. NENO SACCO, we are buying locally assembled vehicles. There we have made them to be an executive
And for your shuttle, you've spoken about comfort being one of the advantages that people can get. Maybe now that we have all these other shuttles, there's a lot of competition. What else do you offer for customers to come to?
Most of our vehicles, one, they have screen inside the vehicles. So when the passenger is traveling, he is at the comfort. They are very spacious. We don't put, for instance, the bigger shuttles, they are supposed to carry 16 passengers, but ours are carrying 14. So that even when you are stretching your legs, you have enough space. Again, we have put screens and Wi-Fi. So we are very, we can assure our customers that our vehicles are up to the modern art. And they are very comfortable, they have Wi-Fi, they have screens. So as you are traveling, you are feeling at home.
Right.
Yes.
We're talking about how these businesses usually peak during the holiday season, and you've spoken about one of the challenges being, of course, going from one route from Nairobi to Embu. There's a lot of customers, but coming back is a challenge. How do you go around this?
We have booking offices all over the towns. Of late, we opened in Marindi, we have one in Mombasa, we have in Ifoi, we have in Nairobi, we have in Embu, we have in Meru, and of late we're opening in Isiolo. That's why I said we are covering the Mount Kenya East. Most of these towns, we have offices. So we are encouraging our people for advance bookings. They can go to offices and book. From that way, it means now even when the price is high, when you have made an advance booking, you just go with the same price. And now we shall be able to distribute the vehicles depending on the demand. If in Embu, we need about 50 vehicles and vehicles in Embu. If you have we need a demand is in Mombasa, we shall be able to put about 50 vehicles in Mombasa because we have enough vehicles. Yes.
Other than that, Kenyans have this culture. We are very last-minute people.
Yes.
And then you'd find maybe the night before Christmas during the holidays or the night before New Year is when people want to travel. What would you say to those people knowing that you've been running this business for a while now?
Thank you. Those people who wish to travel over the Christmas, let them visit our offices and make advance booking so that we can be able to know where the business is and allocate more vehicles to that area. Rather than the vehicles sleeping in Embu or the business in Nairobi, let them visit our office, make advance booking. We are making that advance booking. Wherever you are, you can book and indicate the date through the paybill number. It is everywhere. We are on WhatsApp, we are on Facebook. You can go to our page and book. Then indicate the date you want to go. From that way, we are assured that you'll get a vehicle that particular day which you want to travel.
All right.
Yes.
Mr. Michael, on advanced booking, usually when it's non-peak season, like on normal months, Kenyans don't bother to book because you can just come, you take your ticket, you go to wherever you need to go. But during the holiday season, advanced booking is very, very necessary. We're seeing maybe some even shuttles are already pre-booked to January. Do you feel like there are things that shuttles can do to push this particular culture?
It's better to explore that area so that you are assured of you are traveling. So we are advising our people, if you think you'll be traveling on 24th, make advance booking and we will assure you that you will meet a vehicle ready for you. Because when you have advance booking, the vehicle is there. Even if people will come as ground, we shall prefer those people have done advance booking.
And when we were starting this conversation, Mr. Michael, you had spoken about the economical situation not being so fine this particular year. There were a lot of challenges, even post-COVID challenges are still hitting us. You've spoken about fuel price hikes. Of course, that is going to affect the rates of ticket booking when it comes to some of your customers and passengers. What are some of the mitigation measures that you're using to reduce this cost so that you still have customers who want to go home?
One of the mitigation measures is that with advance booking, one we shall not take fare for them. So they are very confident that they travel in the same fare as before. Again, they are assured that they'll have a vehicle ready. We need to frustrate them. So with that type of service, and as I've said, our vehicles are inspected on the daily basis. I know we are suffering because of the fuel, but we have not been able to match the fuel hike with the hiking of the prices. What we have done as a SACCO is that we are buying a higher capacity vehicles. For instance, the bigger shuttles, you can see the vehicle near me was carrying 11 passengers. Now the next one, we are carrying 14 passengers and the same class. So what have you done? To beat the fuel hike, we have bought vehicles a higher capacity so that we maintain the prices, but we carry more, but giving the same comfort to our customers. Yes.
The Christmas season is coming. Merry Christmas to the people who usually celebrate it. Yes. Would you say that maybe during those times you have maybe offers that you give your customers that are pushing sales?
Yes. One, sometimes we have instant offers. For instance, in the morning you might say the first customer, we shall pay the seat for him or her free. So that from there now this customer gets encouraged to use our vehicles more. You see, so we have instant offers because we cannot be able to advertise them, because we want to see those people who feel that they need our services. We have those instant offers. Sometimes we have vouchers, free traveling vouchers for a few customers. So those are some of the areas we are exploring.
And finally, now that we are concluding this particular conversation, what would you say to Kenyans who are traveling when you are wishing them a Merry Christmas, of course? What would you tell them?
One thing I would tell the Kenyans who are traveling, and also the public transport operators, is first of all to look on safety of the passengers. For instance, sometimes when there's peak season, people operate the vehicles who are grounded for too long. The vehicles have not been inspected. The vehicles without insurance. And that's where now, in case there's an accident, the customers do suffer, the owner vehicle suffers. One, all the transport operators must make sure that their vehicles are properly inspected, they have insurance before they go on the road.
And the rallying call, or the last statement, is that safety is paramount, of course, when you're choosing whatever matatu you want to use, whatever long distance travel bus you want to use, and maybe tips and tricks for people who are already in that trade. What exactly can you do, and how can you take advantage of this particular peak season? That is our first entrepreneur. As I said, this is a special episode. We will have a second entrepreneur right after this break. How exactly are you handling this festive season? If you're a business person, are there maybe tips that you've taken that are going to help in your business? And of course, now we have to engage with our second entrepreneur of the week. We're looking at businesses that are thriving during the festive season. If you could just start by first introducing yourself. What business is it that you run? Why do you think that this business thrives so much during the festive season?
My name is Robert Gidira. I'm the CEO of a company called Eliza Tours and Adventures. Eliza Tours started in 2015, where our focus is on tours and travel. We do tours and travel, we do camping, we do corporate team building, we do hotel booking, we organize holiday packages, we do game drives in the country and in the region, and also we do outbound safaris and holiday honeymoon packages. Yes. So we are in this is the peak season, and it is starting very soon in December, all the way up to January. And actually, because of the holiday season, maybe I can say we have already started, because they are mostly dictated not by the festivities themselves, but also by the closure of the schools. So when the schools close early, we also start holidays early. Yes.
And maybe, you know, during these festive seasons, there's the rush aspect, which makes this a booming season for you guys. If you could just tell us, what are some of the ways that you handle these numbers? They're coming in fast. Kenyans are very last minute. How do you handle it?
What we normally encourage is that people should start booking as early as possible. Actually, we have some clients whom we have been serving over the years, and they book their holidays from as early as January. How that helps, number one, is that you are able to negotiate good rates with the hotel. Because as the peak season approaches, the rates get high. Number two, you are able to book the best. I can assure you, like in Mombasa or anywhere you think of a good resort, holiday resort, most of them were fully booked 3 months ago, 4 months ago. So right now, yes, you may be lucky you get a few good hotels, but the best have already been fully booked until next year. Another thing that we always encourage people is that you are able to have the option of paying in installments, because right now you find that the charges are quite exorbitant. Everything goes at the double rate because the peak season. But when you start booking early, you are able to pay in installments. However, we are about 3 weeks to the main festivities, that is Christmas and New Year. It is not still late. People need to book. If you can manage to book by early December, you'll be good to go.
And maybe people should be taking that advice a little bit seriously now that time is ticking. So when it comes to tours and travels, of course, there are things that make this a booming season for it. Do you think maybe it's the season? Is it the timing? Are Kenyans very serious about the festive season to want to go on holiday at that time?
They are very serious about the festive season because of several factors. Number one, it is how we have been brought up even from a young age. We knew, like when we were growing up, that chapati, we were assured of having chapati over Christmas and New Year. And actually, we would, when we were young and we would have chapati, we would ask ourselves, do we have a holiday? Is it Christmas? So that's number one. That is ingrained in us, that every December is a peak season. Number two is the fact that every December, most of the companies have closed. Actually, some of the companies have started closing until New Year, so you find that people have free time. Another thing that enables tourism to boom is the fact that there are some companies which even give some money and allowances, extra allowances for holidays. So you find that people also have time to money to travel. So another factor is because of the 844 education curriculum, you find that in December we have the longest vacation. This time the kids are closing for over 2 months, so you find that there's a lot of free time for kids to go on holiday with their parents, because you find that these December holidays, rarely will you find people getting time as families throughout the year, because you can see schools normally close the other terms like 2 weeks, 3 weeks maximum, but when you have 2 months and the kids are at home, you find that the parents have to pull up their socks and take them to somewhere unique. Lastly, I think is because of the marketing strategy. You find that most of the companies, the hotels, they market for December. They market even from September. Once we hit September or October, we start talking of the festive season. So that mentality and that marketing makes it so peak that everyone has to travel. Yeah, and you can see even last year I saw a meme. Yeah, have you saved enough? Ama unaenda ushago, ama unaenda hoteli for December. Yeah, so those are a combination of factors which make it very plain.
And speaking of last year, Robert, maybe let's just have some perspective for a moment. There was, of course, the economic headwinds that we have experienced in the past year as a country. What has the effect of that been on tours and travel and bookings during the festive season?
Okay, what I want you to understand is that tourism is a luxury business. By luxury, I mean, you remember even when we were in school, we had the 3 basic needs of human beings: clothing, food, and shelter. There's nowhere you have tourism in the matrix. Yes, so tourism comes as a luxury. Now, when it's a luxury, the challenge we normally have is that you have to pay your bills, you have to pay your rent. It is very hard for somebody who has not paid rent to pay a holiday to go to Mombasa. It is unheard of. So you have to clear the basic needs and then you go to the luxury. However, the positive thing about this country is the purchasing power and the rise of the middle class. I would like to appreciate the former President Mwai Kibaki because he really built a middle class economy, and from that time is when most of the local, the tour companies focusing on the local client have really thrived. Because initially we had big companies who were very few, but their focus was on those Wazungu clients who are coming from outside countries. But when we empower, the middle class in Kenya got empowered, this luxury business it also peaked because the middle class are the biggest spenders, both in the lower middle class and the upper middle class. Now, another thing is because of the road network. I think the former president has really done so well in terms of the road network in this country. I'm widely traveled, I've traveled almost everywhere in this country, and I can assure you that the road network is so good, such that if you want to go to maybe Nanyuki, a resort in Nanyuki, which is about 250 kilometers away, it will just take me 3 or 4 hours. That's a plus. Another factor that has really helped the growth of tourism in Kenya, especially in the coastal region, is the SGR. SGR was a game changer. Because I remember when I started this business in 2015, you would find that there were some hotels in Mombasa which were closing during the low season. They would close for 5 months because they don't have money to run the business. And then during the peak season and the high season, they resume business. But since the SGR was established, it changed the game because every day now is like a holiday.
So transportation is helping in this aspect. And also we've seen domestic travel has been on an upward trend for a couple of years now. Kenyans are more receptive to the idea of going on holidays within the country. Do you feel like this is also boosting this economy, and how is it boosting it?
It is boosting a lot because, like, let me give you an example of our business. When we started, we were doing 1 tour per month, only one. Over time right now, we do 4 tours per weekend. We have 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday, and every holiday, every public holiday, we normally have a tour. So what happened, number one, as I told you, is because of the economic purchasing power. Number 2 is because of the rise in the middle class. People have been earning more and they want to spend more. Number 3 is also these people who are earning, they are the early 20s, I would say the young people. Why? Because you find that if you give 50,000 to a 50-year-old man, he is thinking of paying school fees, building, paying debts. But if you give even a 20,000 salary to a 20-year-old, she will think my bills are 15K because maybe she's even staying with the parents. Then the other 5,000 I can be able to afford to go around. Another factor is because of the rise in social media. Lastly, what I think is the cause of all this is because of the access to capital in this country. You find that getting loans is easy. Fuliza is also there. Another, I would mention those products, but you find that getting money is very easy in this country. It is hard, I agree, there are some economic hardships, but as a person who has traveled, we must appreciate the fact that in Kenya, if I want some money right now, I just need to call a friend, assuming I don't have, just put 2,000 for me in the M-Pesa. Within a minute I have the money. So that is another factor that has enabled people get money easily, such that even touring will not be a challenge.
For up-and-coming tours and travel, partakers, people who want to open that business, people who want to engage, what would you advise them now that we're wrapping up?
The first thing I can tell you for a fact, as a person who started this thing from a bedroom, for information, I always tell people this company today is worth millions of shillings, but I started it with 500 shillings. Because all you need to do, you just think of going of a nice place, maybe a hike. We do hiking, we do road trips, but let's give an example of a hike. Think of Longonot. You don't need to travel to Longonot. You just need to give them a call. How much are your entry charges? Maybe your call will cost 20 shillings. You put the same on status. Your friends you advertise, and then your friends will pay. Remember, no one will pay, no one will go on holiday unless you are not a good businessman. No one will go and then pay later. They normally pay in advance. So whatever they have paid is the money that you will use for booking the vehicle and booking the tour guide. But however, there's a challenge nowadays because as much as the economy is rising and we have the internet connection, there are so many con men online. So you find that as much as you want to do this business online, it is becoming a challenge, and I can encourage people to open an office. So these are the steps if you want to run a business, this business. Number one, you have to identify the destination, then you do your calculation. Don't go and charge people to go to Longonot 5,000, then you get only one person or nobody. You have to look at the market rate, the average market rate, which is very easy because it's online. Maybe you charge 2,000 or 3,000. Then after that, you take photos. You can even download photos of the mountain or people hiking. Then you put them on your status. Another thing, hardly will people need to pay. Did they feel really okay paying to a personal number? So you need to register a business. Right now, registering a business is very easy. You just go to eCitizen, register your company there. After you have got the certificate, call Safaricom. They give you the email, they give you a till number or an Airtel agent number. Then after that, you are now in business. Then you can get a small office. If you don't have money for an office, you can do what we call shared office. We have so many of them around Nairobi or other major cities. Then after that, you go into crazy marketing. By crazy marketing, I mean on social media, or we are on X, on Facebook, on Instagram, and all those channels. And then after that, you have your people start booking. The good thing also about this business is that in case the numbers are not right, you have two options. Either you cancel the trip, or you call established companies who are traveling to the same destination the same day. You sell those people to them in quote, and then you get your commission. So it is a very lucrative business with a probability of making very easy money, very fast money. But however, you need to be careful because this money came first before you serve the client. So if you are not prudent, you can spend the money and then you are in losses.
Right, you must always think about your baseline, use economies of scale, do not overcharge, and make sure that whatever you do, you think about your customer, have a customer-centric approach when you're going into this business, and maybe you could be the next person who would be taking advantage of this boom season this week. We've been talking about the main winners.